little pauses to me, man, that shit sounds so incredible to me. I want to get back to the song. This shit is nasty.
I'm gonna start this back from the beginning. Charismatic frontman can do a lot.
Yeah, boy.
Can do a lot for a band. They can make a band and kill a band.
Nasty though. That is nasty.
Wrong to me.
That is nasty.
The riffs and my man Peter Steele's voice.
Really, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me, guys. So, but we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. And it's never mind. Keep it going, George. just keep it going. Check us out on Patreon, guys, where we give you our exclusive access to all of our videos, 186 videos and counting.
Bangers too, though. Bangers. You know, nothing too shabby. I mean, I don't know, like a Led Zeppelin marathon. We got Metallica on there, some Megadeth stuff. You know, I'm just saying. Just throwing that out there, man.
What's up, guys? Your boys are back. I'm Ryan, my man George.
What's up, guys? How you living out there, man? Shout out to the free thinkers, of course. Shout out to everybody that's been following us on Def to Radio, our Instagram, and deftoradio.com. Our website, make sure you follow us on both. It's a great way to support the channel, great way to kind of get on our radar as far as requests are concerned. The information for both will be in the description below.
And as always, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure it's set to all so you get all our videos as they drop. Up and coming artists, man, you know what to do. Click the link in the description. We'll do about 60 seconds of your song in the front of one of our up and coming videos to get you some exposure. So if you are interested in that, make sure you check that out, man. All right, man, getting back to Rush.
The mighty Rush.
Yeah, bruh.
One of the staples on Lost in Vegas, man.
Yep, we did Far Cry this year. That's on Patreon and Def to Radio. So if you want to check that reaction out, I think we did that back in March or so. Check that out on Patreon or Def to Radio. The information for that will be in the description as well. We did that. Territories we did a couple years ago.
And we're doing Subdivisions today, man.
Yeah, man.
This has been one of the most long-standing, highly requested songs, period. Not just for Rush. Definitely for Rush. Period on this channel. For whatever reason, we would see it. We were like, but then for whatever reason, another request would kind of just slightly beat it if we were like keeping count or keeping track. This is a big request. This is off the Signals album that came out in, 82, I believe. Shout out to everybody that's been on our ass on deftoradio.com. Definitely Patreon that has been on our ass to get Subdivisions done for years. Rush Subdivisions. Nasty, man. They are just nasty.
Their build-ups are so dope, man. Hey, we haven't even started the song yet. I think we're like a minute. What we're at 40-something seconds into the song, and we haven't even gotten to the first verse yet. It's just the build-up, how they kind of layer their music, man, and instrumentation rather, and how they build up to the song. I don't even know where it's gonna go, but it is nasty. George said it best. It was like, dude, it's just nasty.
They're just great musicians. We always say this about Rush. It's just something about Rush that's just so obviously in your face. Yeah. Great. And like I said, man, I can recognize, don't get it fucked up. I can recognize when Rush can be on some corny shit too. I think I've pointed it out, like, you know, like something, chase your dreams and something your fears, right? Like they can be corny. I feel like that's obvious. I want people to understand because the people who don't like Rush typically don't like that. But even with that being in the equation, it's still somehow captivating with the instrumentation and the subject matter and how the story. And we can probably get into the what Subdivisions is, I guess, at some point. They seem to always captivate us with their lyricism and the elite drum and bass work and guitar work. It just seems to work, and it's obvious that it's working for us. But anyways, all right, man, let's get back to it. Enjoying just this quick 40 seconds. I know that was a long pause, but we just really appreciate Rush, man. It's like atmosphere, right? I really want to like bring this home. I feel like it's atmosphere.
It is.
I feel like it's technicality, right? I feel like it's groove. Even if it is like an 80s type of zaniness, there is still groove in it because
Slickness
Neil
to it,
Peart
too.
is fucking nasty on them drums, man. It just,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's nasty. Yeah.
All right, I'm
It's
sorry.
dope.
That
It's
was a
dope,
quick
though.
stop.
It's dope. It is. Hey. Where's the beat going? Jesus, see, you don't know. Where the fuck is the beat going? One more pause. Really quick. I was just telling George, and then when he said that too, I don't know if you guys heard it. I was like, where's the beat going? You don't even know where the groove is going until it drops in finally. And usually I don't like that. Usually I like to see some kind of structure in the song, but I feel like they could take the groove anywhere they want to.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, where the fuck is the groove going? And then it drops in. You're like, yeah, that shit's nasty. And they bring it back to that. Boom, tack, 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 tack. They can do whatever they want to do, man. And I always go back to the Jordan analogy, man. Which way you want it, man? You want the post up? You want the up and under? You want the cross? You want the step back? You want the fade away? Which way do you want me? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's hard to guard. This is hard to guard.
And getting back to the corny things, the minute he started singing, sprawling on the fringes of this, I was like, here we go with the corny shit. But there's a weird like
zaniness that works.
It's like when you're in awe of some sort of. To me, it reminds me this is what's just in my head. It reminds me of reading Rainbow, but
Yeah,
like
you said that before.
it just does. I think I said that in the 30. What was it that futuristic song that they did? What was that called? Anyways, but they were talking about the future civilizations or something like that. It is like but in an endearing way though. It feels it puts me in awe and it puts me in a state of adventure when I listen to Geddy Lee's voice. I'm embarking on an adventure, but like an animated adventure or like a kid's movie or some shit like that. The feeling I get, but I fuck with that. I grew up Never Ending Story and the Never Ending Story. He could sing on the soundtrack to that. All that. See, you know what I'm saying? But it's a warm feeling that I get, even if I think it's corny at the same time. So
it's so crazy that we're only a minute and 30 seconds into the song, man. Yeah. And so many things have happened to me. I feel like to the journey that you're speaking on, there's so much that has happened in musically in this song.
Yeah,
at the beginning.
Salute to these guys, man. They're kings, man. statue of Neil Peart in Canada. Yo, put that motherfucker at the airport. A statue of Neil Peart. Rest in peace to this man. He is so fucking disgusting.
I just landed at Neil Peart Airport, man.
Yeah. Fuck YYZ. You know what I'm saying? Fuck YYZ. They need to change that. Man, this dude can. He was such a gifted drummer, man.
Yeah, man.
God damn.
I love it, man. I love it, and I love that he can do. It almost seems like he can do anything.
Yes.
It's almost like if, and I don't know if this to be true, guys. You can kind of comment and correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I don't even know if you could duplicate that. I feel like if he played this song live, I don't know if it would sound the same.
Yeah, man.
I think he would. He's embellishing so much, and you know what I mean, in different parts.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can. If the same song was played tonight, if he had a concert tonight and a concert next week and a concert next week, I feel like
they're all getting a new show.
Yeah, because I don't
From
think
Neil.
it's just almost feel like he's just embellishing as he's going along.
Yeah.
And it's just nasty.
And the bass work in here is nasty.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that underneath. The keyboard work, nasty. I mean, these guys are all just top-notch musicians. I know I give a lot of love to Neil because maybe just inherently I love my favorite instrument to get into is probably just drums inherently.
Right.
So I tend to be a little bit more biased, but I want to make no mistake about it. Everybody is cooking. And again,
Yes.
I know you guys always make it a point to say it's only 3 of them, but they sound like a fucking orchestra.
Yeah.
it is really amazing
It
what
is.
they were able to do with three people.
Yes.
They're talking about the suburbs, looks like, right?
Subdivisions.
He's saying sprawling on the fringes of the city in geometric order, an insulated border, in between the bright lights in the far unlit unknown. And looks like he said, growing up, it seems all one-sided, opinions all provided, the future's pre-decided, detached, and subdivided. And then he said, nowhere is the dreamer or the misfit so alone. I feel like it's just speaking of the disadvantages of living in the suburbs. It seems like what it is, detached, subdivided. In the high school halls and the shopping malls, conform or be cast out.
Yep.
And it said something that I really liked as well. Any escape might help to smooth the unattractive truth, but the suburbs have no charms to soothe the restless dreams of the youth. No charms, just boring, bearing, no stimuli for the youth, just nothing but time and to get in trouble, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So in the basements of bars and the backs of cars. No real stimuli to kind of enrich them in these dreams that they may have. Maybe it stunts their dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Any dreams that they may have had they been around and open up to different layers of culture and exposure. Maybe they will dream. Maybe they can't dream being in such a sort of closed off, insulated environment. But it doesn't look like he's speaking highly of the suburbs.
Maybe you have so many dreams and aspirations and goals, but it's hard to see it because there's no charm to the suburbs because you're not around the shakers and movers. I don't know. That could be a stretch, but maybe because you're not around, kind of a mass populated like city, and you kind of see people shaking. And when I say shaking and moving, I mean just like, hustling and bustling. That don't help anybody. Hustling and bustling don't help either. But just, just working very hard and like really don't have a lot of time.
Or popping and locking.
Yeah. Because exposure really helps cure a lot of problems that people grow up as an adult having, like racism. You know what I'm saying? If you've never been around other cultures, you really don't understand it. So you may have some kind of reservation to kind of, I don't know, because I've never been around it. And it could be innocent, but you just don't know. But if you grew up about it and you were exposed as you were a child, maybe you have a little bit more open mind. You'd be
more of a broader perspective.
Right.
Because he said in here, growing up, it all seems one-sided, opinions all provided, the future pre-decided, detached, and subdivided. But for whatever reason, every time we do Rush, I'm always like, and maybe at this stage, it's just because I expect that of Rush. But even when we first started, man, I was just always like, yeah, what is he talking about? They pull you in. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. They pull you in.
That was so nasty. That's nice.
Neil Peart, he's in the conversation. He's at the table, though. He's at the table in the conversation, in my personal opinion. What Neil Peart did to me in that is some of the best drumming I've ever heard, and is in my top drumming performances ever. That was disgusting from start to finish, and it was still in groove. It was still within the realms of the music. While he still got crazy. It's like he had solos in between the standard groove and got back into solos, and it was just a clinic in technicality and slickness, just pure skill. It just was excellent, and by everybody though. By the way,
everybody, man. And that's why I said, man, I feel like if this was performed on 3 different concerts, I don't know if you hear the same thing, because I felt like it was just so much on the fly, just slick ass embellishing drumming that I'm like, yeah, I don't know how you're remembering all that. Maybe he is though. Maybe he is. Maybe he'll do this every single day at 2:00 without fail. Because you said this might be his best performance, and I agree. And I feel like when this was, when they put this on wax, meaning when they put it in the studio and they put it, together and put it on the track, and it was all completed, I feel like they were like, this is something special. Yeah. This right here is something special.
It's interesting because me and Ryan were looking at a video a while back, I think it was on YouTube, about the disadvantage or how the suburbs are ruining America, and they're just not energy efficient. They're not cost efficient in terms of just having to get a vehicle to then drive into the city, because and you got a car payment and all these things, because there's more cars that have to drive back and forth into the city. It's fucking up the environment, and then the lack of some of what they talked about in that video is kind of what they were getting around to in this song. It's just the isolation of being in the suburbs. So you're not being exposed to as much culture. I found that very interesting. And this is in 1982, he said this. It's the financial strain that it puts on cities to being able to maintain the suburbs. So there's a lot there that you can get into. But as it relates to the song, man, I think he was more so fixated on from the eyes of youth growing up in the suburbs, just how isolated you feel. And you're just the thirst for wanting to get some sort of action, right? He mentioned going into the city and getting some action, some sort of something to stimulate me versus being in this boring subdivision of houses and nothing else to do. So I really thought the lyricism was excellent in this. It's a perspective that someone like me would never know. I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I grew up a city kid. You know what I'm saying? Ryan, I'm a city kid. You know what I mean? So we don't know. I mean, sometimes, matter of fact, I thought the suburbs were glitz and glamour. You know what I'm saying? Every time I thought of the suburbs, like, oh, you get money out there, huh? Mom and dad got
house on the hill.
House on the hill, little yard and shit. Oh,
white
good.
picket fence and shit.
Yeah, lucky you. Lucky you. Little did I know, because I just heard about suburban poverty. There's a whole bunch of shit
it's crazy.
We can really expound on.
It's crazy.
But that's what this song made me think of, is just the dark side of the suburbs. Not to say that, people who grew up in the suburbs don't have, wide, broad perspectives and aren't open-minded and all this other stuff. But there are disadvantages. There are advantages as well. There's disadvantages of living in the city, too. A lot of shit, it's too much exposure to things. You grow up too fast.
In verse 4, they said, some will sell their dreams for small desires or lose the race to rats. I feel like that's a form of submission. You're like, I had all these big lofty dreams of what I wanted to do with this life, but I'm gonna settle for this, because it's a smaller desire.
I think it's the dream killer. The suburbs is the dream killer. It seems like in this song, or at least in how I'm taking it. And maybe just for that white picket fence and all your adventure, all your wonder, all your desire for lofty goals and exploration and all that, you're selling that for a white picket fence and a boring life. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not trying to shit on people who grew up in the suburbs, but I think there's something to what you're saying, man. Yeah, shout out to everybody. I could see why y'all wanted to get us on this for years, man. Everyone kept getting on us to do this song, and I understand why. That was excellent, man.
I needed that. Yeah, I needed that. And for those of you that know on Patreon, I'm like, man, maybe we heard all the dope shit.
Yeah,
clearly not. This was fucking phenomenal. I'm mad that it took us this long to get to it. To be honest with you,
yes,
really,
indeed.
really incredible.
But shout out to everybody that requested that. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, make sure you guys check out our Patreon and DefToRadio.com. That's where these requests are getting the most attention from us. Information for both will be in the description. I'm George. That's Ryan. Las Vegas.
We out.